Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm just going to be doing a nice little draw with me. Just going to draw this tree stump. What a surprise that I had done. Actually, I did this drawing a few months ago now, and I'm just posting this video now because I'm catching up on my recordings and I wanted to log a few so that I could have the space to do what I wanted and not get art block, because if I feel too much like I have too much stuff to do, then I get art block. So the videos that you see from me are a little bit in the past. I hope that's okay. Sometimes they're not. So rarely I will post one that I did maybe a week or two before just because I get excited about it, but anyways, so I drew this tree stump. I really like how it turned out. It's one of my most favorite stumps that I've done. And I guess I would say my only regret is not putting like a frog in there. But I was a little concerned about trying out a frog with the markers because this is one of the first times I was using these markers. And I just wanted to do something I was comfortable with to get my confidence up, basically. And how I approached it was that I did an underpainting of this nice light pink color, which I really liked how that turned out. It gave a nice warm tone underneath. And then I did the darkest color, sort of the dark mid-tone color, I guess we'll say, first. There's a lot of colors that happen here. And I tried to do all the strokes kind of going upwards. I didn't really do anything horizontally because I wanted to give the effect of the bark and it being like old and kind of falling away and kind of that sort of vibe. So I took that dark color and did that. And then I wanted it to be that there was a sunset. Yet again, what another surprise, because I basically do everything at sunset because I just really like the colors that show up at sunset. So to get that look, I started to introduce quite a few different types of pink, as you'll see, and I wanted it to be very dark within the opening at the top so that you could see that the shadow is being cast, and I just basically wanted to have like a strong shadow. I wanted to try that out when I was doing this and put some mushrooms around. And yeah, I guess the mushrooms were probably the hardest part. I don't know why, the ones that are sticking off of the stump. I always have a hard time with the markers and making those ones. I don't know. I'm not sure why. I guess I have to practice more. And I was getting used to blending as well here. You can see at that top little part, and you'll see as it goes on as I'm trying to blend in the shadows, because I like to have a few colors going on in shadow. And so I just did what I always do, which is layer on top of each other until the paint is wet, and I just kind of go on really quickly with the two colors and mix them, and it does a pretty good job. I did it again right here. I started with a middle brown color, and then I went over top with the darker color around the edges because I like to make the edges of the shadow the darkest. Went a little bit light at the opposite end and just kept mixing them until it looked good. And yeah, it takes a little while and you have to get used to it, but once you get used to it, it looks pretty cool. So it's something I definitely want to practice. The other option, as well as I've mentioned before, is that you can take a wet one of those brushes that holds water in them, and while the paint is still wet from the marker, you can go over top of that and mix it, and I found really good results with that. So you can give that a try as well, because they are water-based, these markers, so you can definitely mix water with them and do some cool different stuff. And I took a little bit of a brighter, more saturated pink here and started doing some little reflections. I like how that turned out, especially with the combination of this green I did as the reflected light on the shadow side. I don't know, I thought it looked pretty cool. I'd love to start studying bugs a little bit more so I could sort of pepper them into different illustrations. I kind of stray away from doing bugs because they're so tiny and I find it hard to like scale them. Sometimes I'll put like a little light bug or little bugs like that or butterflies, but I'd love to get into like beetles or something. I feel like doing beetles with these markers or with paint would be really fun. So maybe I should do a video on that, on like studying how bugs, you know, the ones that are really shiny and multicolored and stuff. I think that would be pretty cool or fun or frustrating and scary. We'll see, I guess. When I do the grass, I kind of just wanted to get like an atmosphere of grass. I didn't want to go too crazy with it or put too much detail into it. So I did my same old thing where I just do a bunch of dots of sort of different colors and to mimic like leaves or little dirt or grass or whatever on there, just to kind of get the vibe of grass. That's all. And I just kind of stamp on the markers so that it sort of puts the color down in a nice little blob, and I found that works really well. Then I just took my neon Holbein color pencil and sort of brought out that pink underpainting that I had done before just to get the really glowy pink effect. And I did my Muji pen just to do some outlines for the fine line and details. I decided at the end that I wanted to do a background with alcohol marker. Of course, I didn't decide this at the start, which is what you're supposed to do, according to me. You're supposed to put the alcohol marker down first because if it touches the acrylic marker, as you may know from watching some of my other videos, it will move it and it will make a big smudge, and it's impossible to get rid of. So I just was super, super careful. I obviously sped this up. And I kind of like how there's a little bit of a white outline in some of the parts because I was staying away from it because I think it looks kind of cool. But it was hard to get around the grass and stuff because there's just so many little like pieces that you have to stay away from. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to say, don't worry, next week it's not going to be a tree stump. Sorry for all the tree content. I know some people like it and I really appreciate you, but I will be switching it up next week, I promise. And thank you so much for watching, and you'll see me next week. Bye!